hooked this up to here, started pulling on it. It's starting to move a little bit. I'll see if I can get you set up so you can see it. So I've got a bunch of tension on here. Got a block of wood. And a hammer. I'm just seeing if I can get this to separate. If it comes up pretty easy, I'm going to take the whole top off. I think it might, I don't know if it's decked or what. Like this whole thing I want to take off. That's the plan. When it comes off super hard, I'm going to cut it midway on the top and I'll have the fiberglass it back together so that I just remove the back half. There's some tension on here. I've run a knife this way. I know that's a hammer, but I did it with a putty knife before. And I just worked it down. Try to keep it separated. All right, everybody, I am going to jump ahead to here. I just put some straps crosswise, yarded this thing off. I also just worked it around the edges. And basically what was really holding this thing on was this, one little layer of chop strand or chop, whatever that is. Yeah, chop strand all the way around. And I just ripped it off while pulling and prying. I'll show you the damage that I caused doing that. Couple little spots here where I was prying too hard. Chowdered this corner. I'm gonna do fiberglass work. I'm gonna repair that, repair the edges here. Pretty much all these corners have it. Some of them were there, but most of them were me. And then this is the worst part that I messed up. But I got a fiberglass guy, aka me, and we are going to fix this thing right up. At least I found some free oil in there. I got this plywood actually is really sturdy up here. No surprise, it was out of the sun and the weather because the bow comes up to like here, the closed bow. Got some stuff in here. What do you think? Should I keep this pulley system? I didn't break any of it, so I could keep the old school pulley system. If anybody thinks I need to, this plywood will get replaced. I think I'm going to tear the floors out of this, which means I'm going to get rid of this little shelf because it's really hollow down here. I think there's plywood in there, and that's all super chowdered, rotted around these edges down here near the floor. The floor's not extremely bad, but I don't know if, it's really not bad. It looks like the original floor, but I also found some spots where there's like nails in it right there. So, what do you think? But either way, this transom, the majority of the center of it's not gonna be too bad to pull out. But out here might be a pain. I'll have to get the oscillating saw, multi-tool. Ooh, look at that, free 10 millimeter. Woo, free 10 millimeter. And it's chrome, so the rust is not sticking. Put that in my pocket. Nice little 12 point. All right, you gotta pull off this mount. This really should separate because most of this wood's been saturated. Oh yeah, this plywood, most of that should come off pretty easy. So, you got all the transom out. It's crazy how thin these are. But basically, all this wood is just, I left it bare in the middle maybe so it could breathe and stuff, rather than coating the whole thing in fiberglass and trapping the moisture. But there's just a little bit of chop strand all the way around here, so it's like not adhered very good because it's all waterlogged. So I just, ripping it out with bare hands. Probably gonna get fiberglass cut, but I get it all held in by nails, and this is why I want to tear this thing right apart, is because it's just all waterlogged in there. Even though this isn't rotten yet, like kind of is, but it's still solid, probably dry out and probably would be fine if I stuck a dehumidifier in here with a tarp. It probably suck all that moisture right out of all this wood, but I'm gonna go ahead and replace all this anyways. You can see right here there's a soft spot. I think the fiberglass goes up to here, and then the plywood sits inboard, so I might not have to hack out these sides or anything. I'm pretty sure that it just stops there. That is all rotten there. So I'm gonna go in as far as I need to go. I'm just gonna cut probably with a reciprocating saw all the way down. All right, everybody. So I'm gonna take a super extremely rough measurement of the transom. I'm actually trying to just get a measurement so I can cut it oversized so I can adhere the two pieces of plywood together. Because I need to basically build up a thickness. If I measure the thickness of the old transom, it's about 1.5. If you can see that. It's actually just maybe a whisker under 1.5, which is perfect because that's about what my plywood measures. It's, about 1.5. Come down here. What is that, 1 3/8 or something like that. And because I said I want to do this oversized, I'm gonna cut just a rectangle out for now, so about 68-ish inches. And then the height, go to the bottom to the top. See, about 32 inches, so 68 by 32. I should have a pencil for this, but so 32. 68. All right, well, it's not perfectly spread out, but we have both coated. I can go ahead and flip this on top of this one. Line up these corners here. Just, it's gonna be rough. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, well, a couple of these ends we're trying to move up just like a really tiny bit, like a 32nd of an inch. So I just put some weights on them. I stuck a level across in all the directions, and she's pretty flat. Well, there's the transom. Let's pull all this stuff off and get it set up on the back of the boat. All right, guys, well, I got this thing clamped up. I'm gonna trace around the outside and then I'm gonna step it in probably. I mean, they had at least like an inch that they kept it away from the walls. I don't know, I gotta do some research, see if we normally leave a gap all the way down or if you go as close as you can and put chamfers on the wood and then fill it so there's no gap. I don't know, but right now, I'll show you what I'm doing. As you can see, my black Sharpie marker, but I'm just getting as close to this as I can. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut it out to minus probably. I'll step in. I don't know. What you guys thinking? Maybe ½ inch to start. Let's get to it. Well, I kind of want to give you guys a look, see what it looks like from the other side. So I do have a bunch of screws in this thing, so I'm gonna try to blow through those with the jigsaw, but I'll come through. I'm gonna step it in a little bit. There's a little scale on the jigsaw. I'm just gonna trace this. I'll probably include these, but I'll do a little tiny divot. Come through, cut without cutting through my sawzall. I mean my sawhorse. And then I come through, cut that out, and then I made marks where the wood's gonna go. So I gotta put a straight edge on here, draw that, and then cut the very top of this off so I have a nice clean edge. All right, guys, this is 0.5 zoom. That's one, so I'm just going 0.5 zoom. I got the little gap all the way down. This will pull once I clamp it all. It's pretty well centered. It's the height that I cut this at. This sits exactly where the old one was. Not much gap over here, so maybe I can trim that up or just tap it that way. I'll have to check that out. Probably be better if I just tapped it that way. Let's just do that right now, see if we can get that done. Open it up a little. There was a split there before, so I gotta make sure I take care of that in a little bit. Obviously I should be using a rubber mallet, but goes to the bottom, covers my hole. Get a hole here, I gotta drill too for that little backsplash thing here. This, probably just pull that off and sand it. But I gotta pull this off. I'm gonna soak this thing in resin now, since I know it fits. All right, guys, most of you are gonna hate me for this, but you know what? It's how I did it. I've actually repaired some screw holes through fiberglass before with success. And there was a ton of holes in this anyways. A lot of them I just reused. They mounted 100 things to the back of this thing. But I got some aluminum to try and hold everything flat up against with screws all through the aluminum. Bunch of screws all around. I'm gonna seal those with fiberglass and all that good stuff. So have no fear. I will make sure that doesn't leak. I got a plug and a screw through here, making sure that this gets a really good bond. There's no air gaps around here anymore. No matter where I push, I can't get anything to move. Okay, these stringers are now solid. I mean, I don't have a hammer handy, but they're pretty solid. I could definitely screw some stuff to those now, especially once I dry it out some more, and then start working on the interior of this thing. By interior, I mean I gotta get the top on, do a ton of sanding, fix the fiberglass cracks that I've made and that were already there, paint it, get it back together, and I have a new outboard I'm putting on this. Not new, but way newer. This outboard's gonna be like 30 years newer. Hydraulic tilt, oil injection, so it'll be an improvement. And we gotta get this little 2-stroke running, which is gonna be the kicker. But if you stuck around this long, not only you're a little crazy, but I appreciate it. And hopefully this thing will be actually together and ready for paint by this time on the next video. And we'll see you next time.